Welcome to my channel. Continue to subscribe and give a big thumbs up to my channel. And I hope you all started school well this week. We are going to look at the Earth's revolution today, and I'm sure you've learnt it in school already. And I have drawn for you a mini sketch about the Earth's revolution, on how the Earth revolves around the Sun. So what is the Earth's revolution? I've just given you a few notes down here. The Earth's revolution basically means that the Earth is revolving around the Sun. This is the Earth. This is the Earth there, and the Sun there in the center. So the Earth is revolving around the Sun. That's what the revolution means. And what does this mean? When does this occur? This occurs within a single year. The Earth makes one complete revolution within a year, which is 365 quarter days. So it makes one complete revolution within a year. Now, why do we look at the Earth's revolution? When we look at the Earth's revolution, we always want to understand what happens to the seasons worldwide. I'm sure you know, like now it's summer for us. There's always a time for summer. There's a time for autumn for us. There's a time for winter, and also there's a time for spring. It's as a result of the Earth revolving around the Sun. And when the Earth is revolving around the Sun, it follows a certain path. That's why we have the seasons at the same seasons at a certain time within the year. And this path that the Earth revolves on, it is called the orbit. And this orbit now gives us two equinoxes, one that occurs 21 March, another one 21 September, two solstices, one 21 June, and also 21 December. Right, so I'm now going to explain what happens with the solstice and the equinoxes. So I'm going to start with 21 March, and the diagram is very clear. We first come from 21 March on the equinox, we go to the solstice for 21 June, we also go to the equinox for 21 September, and then 21 December, it makes one complete revolution. So I'm now going to explain in detail what the equinoxes, what happens at the equinoxes during the year. So we are going to start with 21 March. That's our first equinox. And what does this mean to us? This is our Earth. This is our equator. We have our Tropic of Capricorn here. In the northern hemisphere there, we have Tropic of Cancer. And this is our Sun here. Right, 21 March, it means that the Sun's rays are directly overhead the equator. The Sun's rays are directly overhead the equator. The Sun's rays are directly overhead the equator. So, what does this mean? Equinox. The word equinox then means that we are experiencing equal days and equal nights, and this is occurring throughout the world. As you can see with the Sun here, we are all experiencing the heat from the Sun at the same angles. So it means we are all experiencing equal days and equal nights. But in the northern hemisphere now, you need to take note of this. In the northern hemisphere, it is the spring equinox. And for Us in the southern hemisphere, it is the autumn equinox. So those in the northern hemisphere, it is spring for them. It means they now have to start preparing for their summer season. Us in the southern hemisphere, we know that our summer season is coming to an end and we now have to start preparing for our winter season. So this is what happens at the the 21st, 22 March equinox. We are all experiencing equal days. We are all experiencing equal nights. So next I'm going to now explain the solstice. As the earth is revolving around the sun, we now reach the first solstice, which occurs 21 June. So as the earth is revolving around the sun, as the earth is revolving around the sun, this is our equator. This is our Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere and the tropics there, we have the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, like as I said, the sun's rays now on the 21st of June, the sun's rays are directly overhead the Tropic of Capricorn. Sorry, Cancer. Overhead the Tropic of Cancer. And then us here in the southern hemisphere, it means that the earth is tilted away from the sun here. And as you can see also, the sun is hitting at at an angle there. So 21 June, the sun's rays are directly overhead the Tropic of Cancer. The earth is tilted towards the sun. So it means that 21, so it means for those in the northern hemisphere, in terms of the season, they are experiencing their summer solstice. And during this particular day, it's one of the hottest days there for their summer. And in terms of the days there, they experience longer days and shorter nights. But for those who are in the southern hemisphere, us who are in the southern hemisphere, this solstice for us is a winter solstice. We experience one of our coldest days, the coldest days of winter. During this particular time, 21, 22 June is one of our coldest days. The earth is actually tilted away from the sun. It's very, very cold for us. So what happens in terms of the days for us here in the southern hemisphere? Days are shorter and our nights are longer. So that's our first solstice there. Right, so that's our first solstice, 21 June. You need to know what happens in the northern hemisphere. You need to know what happens in the southern hemisphere. And I think I've illustrated that for you. So the earth continues to revolve around the sun from the 21st of June. We go into August, and then it follows a certain path up to 21st of September, where we experience our second equinox. So we are now going to another equinox there. We are now going into our second equinox, which happens on the 21st of September. The earth, our tropics, the equator, Tropic of Cancer. We have our Tropic of Capricorn. Our earth is now revolving, and as it revolves now here, the second equinox again, sun's rays are directly overhead the equator. All other places are experiencing heat at an angle, at the same angles there, as you can see. So here, equinox again, sun's rays are directly overhead the equator. In terms of the days, in terms of our days, these are some of the questions that you're going to ask. Days, again, because it's an equinox, it means equal day and equal night. What happens in the northern hemisphere with this equinox? Those in the northern hemisphere, it is now their autumn equinox. They have to say goodbye to summer, starting to prepare for winter. And what about us in the southern hemisphere? It means it is spring for us. Bye-bye winter. We are now preparing for summer. And grade 11s, you need to know. You really need to know what happens here, grade 11s. The earth continues to revolve again. It continues to revolve. And now it reaches 21 December. I'm now explaining the second solstice. 21 December. It's another solstice. What happens within the solstice? Again, I'm going to give you a diagram of our Earth, the equator, Tropic of Capricorn, and then there we have the Tropic of Cancer, and the Earth, as it is revolving around the sun, it will reach a path where the sun's rays are directly overhead the Tropic of Capricorn. So sun's rays are directly overhead the Tropic of Capricorn. So it means they're in the northern hemisphere, they're experiencing heat at an angle. So in terms of the season, for us here in the southern hemisphere, we are experiencing our summer solstice. And with that regard, it's also one of the hottest days. It's hottest in summer, where we experience longer days and shorter nights. Take note of this grade 11s here. And then in the northern hemisphere now, this is a winter solstice for them. So it is also very cold for them, which means the earth is tilted away from the sun. So in terms of the days, they experience shorter days and longer nights. And then the earth has made one complete revolution, and we have our seasons that we experience on the earth's surface. Thank you, grade 11s. I'm going to upload more videos for you. Keep on subscribing, and a big up to my videos. Bye.